Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Would you be my neighbor? Hey, everybody. I have a lot to talk about, so come on in the room. Let me just say at the beginning of the hour, happy Juneteenth coming up this weekend for all of you who will be celebrating. All of us who will be celebrating. Listen, in a few minutes, I'm going to tell you some breaking news just came out of Supreme Court that is going to affect our neighborhoods, definitely and without a doubt, and it has to do with guns. And I'm going to give you that. I'm going to get everybody. I bet you that's me.
No, that was me. That was me.
Oh, okay. Boy, a change. I'm surprised it wasn't mine because I just went into. So I'm gonna be telling you. Did I share? Yeah, I did. I'm gonna be telling you about this and how dangerous what the Supreme Court just came up with. I'm sorry, now that was me. Because I'm trying to make sure I share it. What the Supreme Court just ruled today, this morning. And for those of us in Buffalo who have experienced the Tops massacre, you're going to know why this is so dangerous and why you have to vote, because what the Supreme Court right now is stacked and it's politics, so I'm not going against it, but it's just how the system works. But let me give you some side stuff. You want housing in this area, a 4-bedroom home in Amherst. I mean, it's okay. It's nice. One just sold for $1,449,000. Buffalo just had its biggest home sale the other day at $4 million. One home. $4 million. But let me bring it down to micro,
Right.
4-bedroom home in Buffalo, another one. Now, the one in Amherst, I mean, it's got a pool. It's a nice house. Completely renovated. But the one in Buffalo, 4 bedrooms in Buffalo, $729,000.
Wow.
I wish I could. Oh, I don't have my feed. I wish I could show you this little house. I'm okay if you. I ain't gonna send you through it, because it's an updated E.B. Green designed home.
Oh.
But when I tell you it's just a regular neighbor.
I was gonna say probably pales in comparison to what's the aesthetics of the Amherst home.
Nothing, not even near it. An ensuite bath, 2 double sinks, walk-in showers, tub, office nursery, the built-in station, stamped driveway, fully fenced yard with recent landscaping. Nothing.
Wow.
I'm going to turn this around. I want to show. Oh, I'm going to steal. I want to complain to the Buffalo News about their website. You see that? You see? I'm going to show it. To the right there, you got a good shot right there. That's the house. $729,000. This stuff is out of hand. This is out of hand. So before my battery runs out on my computer, I ain't really having one of those days. I ain't even gonna claim that. Breaking news, everybody. Let me see which one is not going to make me subscribe in order to read it to you. Supreme Court strikes down, I'm so tired of these ads, strikes down Trump-era ban on bump stocks for guns. Now, let me make this real plain of what bump stops do. It's the difference of pow, 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 if you were shooting a long gun, and brrr. It basically makes a gun into a machine gun,
right,
for a better understanding.
Yes.
So you can fire off with one pull of the trigger multiple rounds. So there was a ban on bump stops. Someone, of course, took it to court, and now you can. And I'm going to just let you hear a little bit. And this is from USA Today. This is from USA Today, and we're gonna talk about it.
Firearm can be banned under federal law as a machine gun. In this case, a bump stock.
Why didn't Congress pass that legislation to make this covered more clearly?
A bump stock effectively turns a semi-automatic or single-fire weapon into a rapid-fire weapon by making a gun bump against a shooter's shoulder and trigger finger. For a decade, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms said bump stocks were not machine guns as defined by statute. Former ATF Firearms Enforcement Officer Rick Vasquez helped write those definitions on what bump fire was.
So ATF, everybody agreed with the technology branch. Chief Counsel, our deputy assistant directors said, hey, we can't call it anything but a bump stock device.
In October of 2017, a gunman carried out the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history, killing 60 concert-goers from a Las Vegas hotel window, modifying his rifles with bump stocks. So at the behest of the Trump administration, the ATF changed course and said bump stocks are in fact machine guns, exposing their owners to criminal liability. But Austin, Texas gun store owner Michael Cargill sued after surrendering his bump stocks in 2019, arguing the ATF can't change the rules by itself.
You're going to try to make it illegal and turn someone into a felon overnight if they're in possession of it.
He says changes should come from Congress, not a federal agency. Gun control advocates say bump stocks make single-fire guns fully automatic.
The government.
So that is basically what happened, and this is what a bump stock is. And as you just heard, it just rests on your shoulder, and so your own body power or you holding it turns it into a automatic weapon, what we know back in the day, machine gun type of gun. Now, why is that important for our community, and why should we be concerned? It's one thing, first of all, illegal gun possession is just wrong.
Absolutely.
And whether it's illegal or legal, killing somebody else, just wrong.
Right.
And especially for criminal enterprise, all that. We can't, ain't no excuse, right? But here's the deal. It's one thing to have a single shooting weapon.
Right.
Pow, I miss. A cop in Niagara Falls shot at a woman the other day. You heard he missed all 4 shots.
Yes.
And I mean, God bless for her.
Yeah.
That this cop missed all 4 shots, but that's a single.
Yes.
Pow. Pow, you got to recover. Pow. Because every time you shoot, pow, you get recoil. Boom. So now you got to recover and get that gun back in place. With a bump stock, you're just brrr,
Yeah.
and that means especially drive-by shootings or any shooting in which, especially criminal enterprise, in which that occurs, now it's going to be more massive, more casualties. And I got to read whether once the Supreme Court struck it down, whether people can immediately go out now and buy bump stocks. And I would imagine that they could, because now the court has ruled that they are not, that it doesn't make a gun. Let me see. The Supreme Court on Friday said devices that turn semi-auto something closer to a machine gun are legal. A win for gun rights advocates and a blow to efforts to reduce gun violence that has besieged the nation. The court split 6-3 along ideological lines in deciding that the federal government was wrong to classify a bump stock as a machine gun. A bump stock does not convert a semi-automatic rifle into a machine gun any more than a shooter with a lightning-fast trigger.
Stop it.
But guess who said it? Our brother Clarence Thomas wrote in his opinion. But Clarence does not live in these areas that are affected by gun violence.
No, not at all. And I think the sad thing to say, because even if I'm a hunter,
yes,
I'm not spraying a fully automatic weapon on an animal.
You shouldn't be on a deer or anything else.
So, in what right fashion can I hear an argument that says, let's add more fully automatic weapons onto the street or into neighborhoods or into community, even in the farmland? There's no reason for to have a fully automatic weapon unless you're getting ready to go fight a war.
War, because these are tools of war.
Yes.
And, I've been in the military. I know how these things operate. End of the day, there is just no reason for it in our communities. And when you look at this idiot who came into Buffalo, went into Tops, killed many people, that's what I don't know if he had the bump stop, but he had those type of weapons.
Yes, modified.
At modified weapons where he could kill massive amount of people in very little time. Listen, folks, this was one of the most dangerous decisions by our Supreme Court. Because first of all, we already got these ghost guns.
Yes.
So now I can make a ghost gun. And what a ghost gun is, for those of you who don't know, basically you get a computer that makes things in 3D and you get the program that makes the pattern for the gun that will be fully operational if you know what you're doing. So now, and I don't know if Amazon will carry them. I don't know who's going to carry them, but somebody's going to carry these.
Yep.
And I promise you, Let me do a look right now. I bet, what is it called? Bump stock.
Bump stocks, yeah.
Watch this. Bump stocks for sale. Now let's see.
Because, like you said, they just made them legal. It didn't put parameters on who can buy. It didn't say, do you have to be a certain age to buy? It just says, oh, they're legal.
Well, I went to Bump Stop on Amazon. It ain't there. Well, it does come up, but it's not that. And I would hope Amazon or something like that would not carry this. But I promise you, before the end of the day, you will be able to go on somewhere,
I'm sure,
and find, let's see, shopping. That's what I need to go to. Somebody, nope. Bump. Okay, maybe I'm putting Bump Stock. Nothing yet. But just keep a watching, because it will be for sale. Mm-hmm. It will be for sale before the end of the day. Now, everybody who had them was supposed to surrender them.
Right.
And so if you had them, you're supposed to surrender them. I don't believe everybody surrendered.
Absolutely not.
I just do not believe. And this is going to be devastating. You can mark my words, for our communities. It's going to be devastating. This ain't going to affect, I don't believe this is going to affect the suburbs.
No.
Because they're not outside shooting each other right now.
And I was getting ready to say, just like we always said with gun laws, you want to change anything, you start telling black and brown people, all right, y'all go start buying bump stocks, and then go on to some of these other areas, and then they be like, whoa, we need to ban these again. So
Absolutely. Kamal says, not so, Supreme Court. I agree. By the way, just to set everybody up, after I come back from the commercial, it's going to be all things black in honor of Juneteenth celebration, and one of the largest in the country right here in Buffalo, all things black. That means I want to hear on social media and by phone after the 12:30 break about businesses that you want to highlight. We do this every year in our community that are black owned and operated. And so we want to do that in honor of those businesses. And I'd really like to hear about some businesses that a lot of people don't know are freshly open businesses. Mm-hmm. So call around. The business themselves can even call and represent their business. So let them know. If you know somebody with a business, have them tune in to call in, and I'll give the number after the break. I'll give it now, but don't call now because I'm not going to answer. Area code 716-541-0866. Area code 716-541-0866. So, yeah, I think that this is dangerous, but I'm going to say it for the 80. I know you all get tired of me saying this. Those of you who think that voting does not matter, it does, because the Supreme Court, many who were, and again, I ain't dogging them. I mean, as far as how the process is, it's how the process is. So if you don't vote and you desire a different outcome for your community or for your city or for your country,
yes, sir,
you have to participate in this process. It's the only process we have.
Only one we have. And the sad thing is, and I've said it on this show, once I kind of heard what these interviews were, when Senator Mitch McConnell hit the U.S. Senate in the late 80s, he always said, I don't care about the presidency. My goal is to take over the Supreme Court. And he did not give up that seat until they got 6-3. And then now here we are.
Now here we are. So, some people are saying, well, about reproductive rights, and this, you don't participate.
What are we supposed to do?
And if rain is going to keep you in the house and all that kind of stuff, then this is what we get. And this is what we have in front of us right now. So this is dangerous. Little bit of local talk. I guess there's this big controversy right now on Board of Education and with the teachers union about whether teachers should intervene in fights. Now, what I'm not going to do on this show, in this segment, because I don't have enough time to do it justice, is to start calling any names. I'm just going to talk about the issue at hand. Mm-hmm. There was, I think, a 5th grader who was allegedly, let me say allegedly, about 800 times, allegedly hit in the head or was being beaten by another student in the 5th grade. Allegedly, the teacher calls for security. Mm-hmm. And from what I've read, and that's the only place I've got it from, is that allegedly the teacher did not intervene to the parent's satisfaction physically. And another student held on to the student who allegedly attacked the other student. Parent brings their child to the Board of Education and says, basically, what are y'all going to do about this? And Board of Education differs. One of the persons on the Board of Education says, basically summarizing, that teachers should do everything they can to intervene or to stop basically what's going on. Others are, and the teachers unions of the opinion, we do, but we're not security guards, and we can't get involved in all of this stuff. One of the things, the last thing that I read that the teachers union said, hey, this bridge of this conversation is not burned. He said it's rickety. But one thing about that statement, they're leaving the door open for conversation.
Absolutely.
And then the school superintendent has said they're going to get both sides together.
Makes sense.
And talk about it, because you can't do education where you got chaos.
Absolutely.
Again, I'm a big fan of the school superintendent, and I say that was the right thing to do, and not to just let this differing of opinions separate us. Now, I got a lot of opinion on it. As somebody who's been in the classroom, I'll just put it this way. Elementary school, and that's where I was at, teaching Spanish in elementary school, is a lot easier to control than it is high school. But there's some big elementary kids nowadays.
Yeah, there is. He mess around and get dragged by a 4th grader.
I don't know if I want to be third graders talking about. Don't have me punch you in your face. Right?
Yeah, they
because now I've seen, so that's why I don't have a horse in the race. I'm just glad that the superintendent is saying, let's work this out. Because I think almost all would agree that when you get to that high school level, it's a different ball game. And it can be dangerous for non-trained educators to get involved in.
Right.
I mean, that's where you just be trying to look for the littlest one, the weakest one. Let me peel you off this pile.
Right.
But it's for both sides. I'll just say I get it.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I think that's a fair assumption, because that, we often see movies like Lean on Me and things like this, and then even some real stories where teachers have intervened and then they end up worse than the people fighting. But it is, I think, wherever you find that balance, I think the struggle is that Good Samaritan when does the Good Samaritan part kick in? When somebody is like probably like one punch away from severe damage. Like, when do you finally, I can't wait for security.
Yeah.
I have to either just jump on the one that's getting ready to have severe life damage, or because sometimes you're not able to grab the person that's being the most violent, but I can lay on the one to protect. But like you said, that comes with training and things like that.
Dude,
So-
I weigh 165 pounds. Me laying on somebody ain't gonna do nothing. They're gonna lift me up on their back.
I agree. I agree. But
Now, you laying on them might be different, or my son Markeith laying on them might be different. Me, that's where this balance.
that's what I said.
Yeah.
It's a balance, and I think a lot of that comes with training, because it's like, where do you lay? If some, it's
Right.
it's like, so I think you do have to find some balance, and it is a discussion with both sides, because it's depending, especially with some of the high schools, especially since we're talking older kids. If the security officer or the school resource officer is way on the other side of the school, and it takes a 3 to 4 minute walk,
Yeah.
a lot can happen. And then
A lot.
And then now we're talking about weapons in schools.
Yeah.
You have no idea. So it is a balancing act and very delicate.
It is very delicate, and I'm not here to stir the pot. I told you, I'm in a season in my life. I'm looking for peace, harmony, and so my opinion is that they need to work on it.
Yes.
And I'm glad both sides are being vocal, and that you don't have a school board where everybody's just jumping on one side
Right.
and not looking for a solution.
Yes, sir.
To how do we get to a point where children feel safe? Because again, we're talking about guns. Now we're talking about education. And what will happen is the haves will just pull their kids out.
Sure will.
And then you have a different dynamic, because now the haves go like, oh, I'm not going to deal with this. And my child doesn't feel safe in a school.
And it's and quiet as it's kept, is really already happening. That's why you see this influx to charter schools and private schools, and that's how now you're starting to just leave certain individuals and children in public schools. And it's just like what they talk about the workforce. The ones that aren't working are the ones that have serious impediments to working.
Absolutely.
So that's what's going to end up being happening in a lot of our public schools if we stay down this path. And the countrywide, I won't just say Buffalo, countrywide, the influx is going to keep pushing to charter schools and private schools. And what's going to happen with public schools is going to be the kids that need the most help, the most issues, and then you're relying on public school teachers to be that,
to be everything.
to be everything.
And that leads to that pipeline that we often talk about. Because if I can't teach, if a teacher can't teach because of disruptions in the classroom, at the end of the day, all these other students suffer.
Yes.
And so now you got children who should be Harvard and HBCU bound and all of that kind of stuff. Forget Harvard. I ain't really feeling Harvard these days.
Yeah, no.
It should be Ivy League school and first HBCU bound, and not able to get to their dreams because they were in classrooms
Right.
that were kind of chaotic, or schools
Yes.
that were chaotic. And I say, it's a shame, and thank God that they're there, but that in our communities, we got to have community members on the corners after school.
Yes.
However, I'd rather have those community members
Right.
than to have Buffalo police standing on the corner to take care of that. What we got it there?
Oh,
What happened?
There's a lot of comments. Angela Prim says, exactly, it's a lot going on in schools these days. Shaniqua Monet says teachers should be involved before it's escalated to the fight. They should see the sins, but because they don't get paid enough to care, they back off. And then Angela comes back and says, yes, training is necessary because we are just dealing with the fight. You have to deal with the whole classroom.
Well, one of the things, and I don't know who said it, and like I said, I'm not going to mention names in this at this point because I don't want to stir the pot. I want to prayerfully encourage come to some solution. But was talking about, it is beyond that. It is how do you do what they call, and this isn't an article, restorative justice,
Yes.
and all that. And when you first hear about that, it's like, oh, that's quirky. That's you just kick the kid out. But no, it is restorative
Absolutely.
justice, because if after a fight there's nothing that occurred, and I think it was the parent of the child who brought it up. if after a fight there is nothing that happens except there's expulsion, that's going to continue.
Absolutely.
And it's going to continue to the next year and out in the neighborhood.
I was going to say, potentially to the next generation, because now you got parents. You're the one that got your child is the one that got my kid kicked out of school.
Absolutely.
So now you're like you say, that you just pushed it to the neighborhood, and other people now are involved. So
yeah, I don't envy three right now in this generation. I don't envy students because I think some of our students want to do just the best they can, and they get caught in this kind of web.
Yep.
I do not envy the parents who have to make these very tough decisions of where does my child go to school.
Yep.
And I do not envy teachers. And finally, let me add a fourth, because I've been teacher and I've been on the school board. I do not envy school board members. I really do not envy, because it's like any other elected position. You dag on if you do, you dag on if you don't. And you're trying to find a solution that is not just about the school.
Right.
It's about culture. It's about, I'm going to say it, racism that from years ago that has just continued to come down this mountain and affect even this generation of children.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this, when the Supreme Court, back to the Supreme Court, decided against affirmative action and all of those things that could get our children who already have dealt with so much negativity and racism from their ancestors into these schools, Supreme Court says, nope.
We don't care.
But every justice on the Supreme Court is a multimillionaire.
Yes, they are.
And if they weren't...
Yes. So I was going to say, speaking of the one that you mentioned earlier that's supposed to look like us but not like us, there was just, I don't know if you saw the article the other day where it was like how much private jets and chartered planes he's on of GOP
of donors.
Yes.
And you going on vacation.
Yeah.
And I ain't got no problem with vacation. I go on vacation who I want to.
Yep.
But you're the supreme, you're the last court, the highest court in the land.
Yep.
The highest court in the land.
Being persuaded by a plane.
So, bruh, thank God we got the sister on there.
Yeah.
Jackson,
yes.
right? Yes. Justice Jackson. I give her all the respect. And the three. That's all we got, I think, is three.
Yep, 6-3.
So at the end of the day, these decisions, and I'm getting ready to come over to the station, these decisions being made by the Supreme Court that is appointed by the President of the United States and then confirmed, you got to understand your vote means a lot. And an election is coming up. And you got to choose a side. Choose a side. I know. I ain't endorsing here. I'm just saying. Don't sit at home and then later when it's 7-2 and we definitely can't get nothing through.
Yeah.
I'm coming over to the station in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
When it comes to something as personal as your clothes, you need to deal with somebody you can trust. That's why so many people turn to Hobson's Dry Cleaning, conveniently located in the heart of the community at 874 East Delavan at the corner of Wyoming.
When you take your clothes to Hobson's, you can trust that they'll be ready on time.
You can trust that your whites will be white.
You can trust that you'll always get a fair price and service with a smile.
You can even trust that you won't have to get out of your car if you don't want to. Hobson's has a drive-through window for your convenience.
Trust is what it's all about at Hobson's Dry Cleaning.
Hobson's Dry Cleaning, your one-stop dry cleaners serving the community for over 30 years at 874 East Delavan at the corner of Wyoming. Call 891-8298. That's 891-8298.
Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home has 3 locations to serve you in Buffalo. 347 Peckham, 2258 Bailey Avenue, and Providence Memorial Chapel at 1275 Sycamore. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes offers traditional services, and they have services for all faiths. And at Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes, they have air-conditioned parlors and chapels. Financing is available, as is limousine service. At those difficult moments in your life, Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes is available where you are with counseling services. call toll free 877-885-7734. That's 877-885-7734. Or locally 845-5545. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes. We are here to serve you, here to serve this present age. Call today, toll free 877-885-7734 or email info@brianklewisfuneralhome.com.
All right, so we're going to talk in just a few minutes about all things black. I want to hear about black-owned businesses, entrepreneurs, things that you want us to know as places we should support. And you can call us at 716-541-0866 or on our Facebook. I don't think my YouTube is up where I can see it, but I ain't going to worry about YouTube right now. So on Facebook, you could put those businesses up, tell me a little bit about them, and we'll let the public know. And that's being sponsored by Hobson's, the Dr. Dry Cleaner, and Brian K. Lewis. It's pushing other businesses in this hour. You were reading something from Kamal. You made a
So I saw Kamal's comment that said, "Are the children being rightly educated in the Buffalo public school system? Can most students read, write, and do math on grade level? Can they read and write longhand cursive writing?" And I think the struggle with this is, it goes back to what we were saying before. If the teachers have to spend more time fighting and breaking up fights and trying to control classrooms or having to stay down the hall to keep hallways clear, then you are taking away from the learning experience. And we can get into the taking a village and read. Some of this education starts at home. We can get into all of that too, but if the majority of my 6 hours in a classroom is stop, don't do that, get off of them.
Absolutely.
Then how can I effectively teach my class so they are properly getting to the next grade level?
Now, I do support more mental health professionals and social workers that can facilitate these kind of healing situations, and not just leave it, because some children are acting out, and I know I'm going to get out of this. I got a call coming in now, because of other situations that are beyond that classroom.
Absolutely.
And so now if all they are is suspended, it's like they never get the help or the intervention that they need.
You're pushing them back to the problem.
You're pushing them back. And I don't think that CPS needs to always get involved. I think that should be a last alternative. I think that cooperation, if that parent is cooperative, to help that child.
Right.
And so it's so much to unpack. And people have been trying to unpack this for decades.
Yep.
I'm not going to say we haven't gotten better,
right?
Because I think in some ways we have, but I think in some ways we are still, there's still other issues. And you got other school districts that, I mean, now they got problems too. They got problems, but I'm going to say,
they just got different ones.
They got different problems. However, like I keep saying about everything else, whether it's what we participate in recreationally, or they own the businesses.
Right.
Their parents have the connections. Their parents know the person who's the president of the college. And so they're going to get in where we have to really compete.
Absolutely.
We really have to go on a job interview.
Absolutely.
We really have to do the testing and pass, where other people, we've seen this.
Absolutely.
Where they get slid, some of these kids get slid under the door.
And I don't know names, so it's probably a good way I can do this story. So where I coach, there's a kid that high school student trying to get into the school. So part of the process is an interview with administrators. So when they asked the question, "Why do you want to come here?" he said, "To play football." And of course, the academic administration, they're like, red flag, red flag, red flag. But then when you look at, once we talk to people who know the family, they're like, he has no one at home to prep him for an interview.
Wow.
So they are actually extending him an opportunity to do another interview.
Wow.
Because it's just like, hey, man, I don't know. And honestly, he's just being honest. Like,
but that's something that you say that child who could get into a prestigious school.
Yep.
If nobody else has been there, who tells them?
Exactly.
That's a deep conversation. Caller, you're on the air. Let's see if I can get them on the speaker.
This is Katrina Martin Bordeaux.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm pretty good. Well, I'm calling because I'm taking the opportunity, since you were speaking about the presidential elections coming up. Myself, as a community member, along with several other block clubs and community organizations and some small businesses, are hosting a 2024 presidential election debate watch party.
Wow.
Douglas Jamal is one of our sponsors, and he has donated the space. It will be June 27th at 7:30 at the Teller's Lobby Bar at Seneca 1, which is 1 Seneca Street in Buffalo, 14203. This is an event that is also sponsored by Buffalo Niagara National Action Network. Reverend James Lewis is our chapter president. This is an event that is free to the community. Tickets will be posted on Eventbrite shortly, sometime later on today.
All right.
The purpose of this event is to start a community discussion and bring the community together in relation to the presidential platform issues and issues throughout our community, similar to the ones that you were speaking about, in addition to offering information in relation to the infrastructure improvement, job opportunities. We'll have we have a surprise guest, some free entertainment, free food and beverages, and,
All right.
hopefully this is the start of a conversation within our community, and I hope to see all of you there. And thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. The number here is 716-541-0866. 716. Can we throw it up on the screen?
Yep,
We got
got
okay.
it.
541-0866. We're talking about all things black now. All things black. I want to hear about some African American owned businesses in our community, because we always, a lot of times we talk about, other folks who own businesses, complain about it, but let's push. Matter of fact, I was reading an article about how to help black businesses thrive. And, one of the things to talk about is promoting and supporting legacy business is especially salient in historically black commercial corridors. Well, we don't have one right now here, so we don't have a black corridor that I know of. Maybe Fillmore is,
Fillmore,
Fillmore.
there's the one stretch of Jefferson.
So you got Jefferson.
Yeah.
You got the Ink Spot. A lot of people do business over there. You
Golden
got
Cup.
Solo Eats. Golden Cup. The Apollo is there.
And there's some black-owned businesses in that one strip further
The
up.
barbershop.
The barbershop and where the
Jerry
bank
Daniels,
is. Yep.
The Caribbean spot.
Yes.
The vegan spot that'll be moving. Yeah, so I would call that a
Yes.
commercial corridor. They talk about many businesses black businesses are still in crisis management mode. Durham, North Carolina, to help, Durham has launched a pilot program for 10 legacy businesses focused around the tradition of Black Wall Street, which was, blah, blah, I ain't gonna go into that. But so let me hear about some black businesses. 541-0866, 541-0866. I'm trying to think of the newest one that I heard of that's out there, and we try different ones.
Right. I know, and the only reason why the first thing popped in my head is because I was just in that area driving for work yesterday. Laverdot, and I still have yet to get over there for a full meal, but I've had their food. Matter of fact, I had it on a Clean Sweep. Amazing.
Yeah.
It was one of the first times I've taken a platter home from Clean Sweep.
Yeah.
So their food, Laverdot over on East Lovejoy, amazing. So I'll give them the first shout out of the day.
And one one of my contractors is Aaron's, who cuts grass and all that. Now because I wanted a African American cutter. Now everybody, he subcontracts, I think, or I shouldn't say subcontracts. Everybody who works for him is not African American, and I have no problem with that.
Oh, absolutely.
I want to be clear.
Absolutely not.
He owns it, and that's
Yeah.
what I care about. And at the end of the day, you hire who you want to hire.
Absolutely.
But I know that I'm supporting. And watch somebody tell me it's not. Now I don't do the contractor, but I believe, it is African American owned. He does his own thing. I don't know if the cab stand, I'm sure it still is. And I know, we talk about restaurants. We talk about all of that. Of course, we talk about Brian K. Lewis. We talk about Hobson's. at the end of the day, there's a cab stand on Jefferson and Northampton.
Cold Spring.
Is that Cold Spring?
Yes.
And I believe, I'm not sure, but I just know it's all African Americans
Yes,
that I
it's-
see.
yeah.
But I'm not, it is. Cold Spring. Somebody let me know in the comments, is Cold Spring Taxi, and the reason I bring it up is because, everybody Ubers.
Yes.
But not everybody. Old school, they call it the taxi. But if Cold Spring, I want to give them that. Oh, somebody just said Doris Records.
Holding down.
He hold down that fort for his from his dad, and now in Doris, and you can get your Amazon packages.
Oh, nice.
I believe. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong on this stuff, but I thought it came up one time when I was ordering something of where I could have it delivered.
So they got
locally.
Amazon lockers.
So they have. I think they keep it behind the thing,
Oh,
like
all right.
UPS, like
Okay.
UPS. So they keep it, and that way, the reason that's important, you get larger things
Right,
delivered.
right.
If you got the locker, like Delta Sonic
Right,
had the lockers, I guess they still do.
Yep.
But it's only a certain size.
Yes.
If they put it behind the counter, now you can have those larger things
That makes sense.
that are delivered. So that there's a corridor there, like you said. Now we got Mandela's. It's still owned by Mandela. He doesn't own the one on Broadway. His brother
Well,
does.
yes. Okay.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
so
okay.
just to let you all know, his brother contacted me recently and said, "Hey, I took, I got the store now, and I want to be as responsive to the community as my brother was." So you come down that corridor, you got 1490, you have Mandela's, Solo Eats. You have, there's something on that other corner. It changes all the time. It went from ice cream shop to something else, but I'm not sure who owns it. So
You're not talking about the one next to the pharmacy.
No.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? Right on the corner.
Right on the corner next to Doris.
It changes a lot. I'm not sure.
No idea what it is.
If it's an ice cream store today or they selling sneakers, I don't know.
I don't know.
So you come further up. We already did that. Now you get over the hill where Jesus is real. That's what Mount Ararat used to say. Mount Ararat, up on the hill where Jesus is real. So you got Mount Ararat.
I love it.
And then you come down, and I think that's it.
Well, you got Greater Refuge. That strip that you already called out where Sunshine Vegan Eats currently is. Then there is the other soul food place in there.
Yep.
There's Island Mix. I wish it was it. Sugar Ease, is that the name of that soul food? I can't remember the name of the soul food restaurant, so excuse me if I'm doing it any no justice. But yeah, and then there's the barbershop. Yeah, and then I think
And then that's it. Now they got a new building that just went up overnight. You see it by the 33?
Listen, they rebuilt that big box, didn't they? Whew.
They knocked that thing down. Now this is where we Marie Collins says the drugstore Jefferson. I don't know, is that black owned?
I don't know.
Somebody
I don't know
owned
if
that.
Dexter's is black owned, but maybe it is.
Well, Marie Collins says I'm going by, but I'll say this:
Yeah.
if they're not black owned, they have outlasted Rite Aid in our community.
Sure did. Sure did.
So if they're not black owned, big ups to them because they have serviced a lot of African American people.
Oh yeah, we mentioned Golden Cup. We forgot the Challenger.
Oh, the Challenger
Forgot
is
the
right
Challenger.
there.
And Terry just texted me. It is Sugar D's. So
It's Sugar D's.
yes,
All
that's
right.
soul food restaurant over there.
Sugar D's is over there, and yep. So we got Challenger and another black owned media outlet, the Buffalo Criteria.
Absolutely.
Got to say, that was one of my first little jobs, selling the Criteria at
Wow.
St. Luke AME Zion Church for a
Oh
quarter.
yeah, we are missing all kind. Now I forgot my place, Premier Cigar.
Premier Cigar is over there.
Their own Mr. Cones. Yeah, we forgot.
Come on, but
yeah,
that's why
that
we
whole
want to push
strip.
it.
That's that whole strip.
Mr. Cones. I can't eat Mr. Cones because I'm a lactose.
Oh yeah.
If I go to Mr. Cones, it's going to be a problem.
You might
in the
not even
car.
make it around the corner.
right in it. It's right around the corner. Oh, it's right. It's right around the corner from my house.
But I have been over there and I've seen him prepare ice cream, and I'm like, oh, that look good. You know, I'm trying to keep my girlish figure, but I'll be like, man, that ice cream look good.
So you can eat ice cream.
Yes.
I used to drive around with the Lactaid stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But then the older I got, it just didn't work as well. But let me tell you this funny story. And y'all keep giving me black businesses. 541-0866. We're getting a lot of feed on Facebook. I found a little spot, and I ain't going to say where it's at, because I love when I find my little spots, and it ain't nobody there. And I just got me a hot dog, and they had a Coney Island dog.
Ooh.
So, this got the meat on it and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, you can't do this, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Uh-huh.
That ain't, and that spot is about 30 minutes away from here.
That is the worst.
No, we got to talk serious stuff.
It's the worst.
When your stomach hurting,
and
you
that
start sweating. You start sweating. Oh, caller, you on the air.
This is Miss Doyle.
Hi, Sister Doyle.
Yeah, I don't have time to talk about the fighting, but I left a message on your Facebook page about it.
Okay.
My question is, what is being done to prevent the fights in the first place? So if you get a chance, you might want to read it. But I do want to say something about the Buffalo Criterion is now 100 years old.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes. So if you get a chance, I hope you will read my comment. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Love you, Queen. Wow, 100 years
100
old.
years.
Congratulations. I can't stop laughing about this sweating. Hold on, I gotta try to get serious. Mike, I was sweating so bad. Then I got to the door, and I kept putting the wrong code.
Oh, that's the worst. Oh, it's the worst.
Mark, I kept saying, I hope ain't no neighbor looking out the window. Because I usually go through the garage. I couldn't fool with no garage.
Couldn't make it.
Get out the garage door, go to the back door.
Couldn't make it.
I had to go through the front door. But I'm going to say, God is good.
Yes, he is so kind.
I made it. I made it. I'm sweating right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been there.
So
I've been there.
Katrina says it was black owned. If it's not still black owned,
That must be the pharmacy.
The pharmacy. They've been there since she was 5. Yeah. So big ups to the pharmacy. Kamal says Dr. Birds. Did we say that? We said that.
No, Dr. Bird's on Main Street. It's like,
Yeah, I can't do that. I can't do.
I love it.
See, I can, but it can't be too spicy.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna have a problem.
I love it. Matter of fact, we might as well shout out all the Caribbean spots. Like I said, we Island Mix, Dr. Bird's. There's I think Genesis. It's called Genesis on Kensington and Norfolk. Why'd I go down this road? I try to hit much of them because.
Wait a minute. What's the name of it?
It's called Genesis. It's a little like green building right at Kensington and Norfolk on the corner. Their jerk chicken was really good.
You know who I got to try? Sweets.
I still haven't been to
gotta
Sweets.
get the Sweets over in the University District.
Yes.
Listen, online, and I may do that today. Online, or I may send somebody online. That's when I say she has some chicken wings that I'm like, okay, stop playing. Stop playing with me. I can smell the chicken wings.
I'll tell you whose chicken wings were really good. I got them country fried because I already had a
What's
sauce.
the difference?
Country fried is just where it's battered, but there's no sauce on it. So it's basically fried like your regular fried chicken. The jukebox. What is that? William out on what?
Is black on?
I don't know if it's black owned, but
we
let me tell
in
you.
the black space right now.
But
We're in the black space.
I think they are, but let me tell you, those wings were so good and crunchy. Oh. It's on William, like past William and Bailey, almost like you're getting ready to run out the city.
Yeah.
And it's a little corner. It's almost, I think it's a corner bar. I didn't go in, but I got them ordered. But yeah, it was, they were good.
Well, I'm going to try Beverly McCully. I can
BG.
So that was my first food review. Ike and BG's.
Yes, it was.
And I had people from the news going over there. Ike and BG's. I'm going to say this, and he doesn't have a business, I don't think yet, but Brian K. Lewis has some smokers right now. Let me just say this, church. Let me say this. And the next time he give me some ribs, and I'm praying, I'm going into prayer and
He better
fasting.
give it to you in private.
First of all, he gave me 2 slabs of ribs the other day at an event. I told these hungry hippos that they could have some. I meant like take a bone or two or three. They took and left me a third of a slab. A third of a slab. But let me just say this. I have never had ribs smoked so much because your meat only going to take so much smoke.
Yes.
And then that's it.
Yep.
When I got home and opened up the tin, my kitchen, it could have set off the smoke alarm. I've never had anything. So he has these huge smokers he's bought, and the sauce even on them. Did you get? I was mad because 2 days later that sauce now had kind of dissipated, and I couldn't get that. I wanted to call and say, "Hey, you got any
more of the sauce?"
Yeah,
yeah. But when I warmed mine up in the oven, the sauce kind of came back to life.
Well, let me tell you, I messed mine up. I think I put it in the air fryer, so that dried it out, but it was still good, and you could. I don't want it where it falls off the bone before I can bite it. You got to have a little.
Yeah, I got to be able to pull.
Gotta pull. So because one time I cooked ribs so long and slow that I had pulled pork. I had pulled pork with bones in it. That's all.
And honestly, I learned it from my guy at work. He had made me a rack of Carolina ribs, and he said, so I was like, they're cooked. So what do I need to do? And he said, leave them in the aluminum foil, leave them in the paper. He was like, just put them in the oven at like 200 for 30 minutes. And so that's what I knew what to do with Brian's ribs. So
there's a comment here, and I just want to be clear. He says, I think we need to speak more about all black businesses instead of just black business in inner city. I own Sense and Sensuality, LLC, which is in Kenton area. I also own Bees, Lawn, and Beyond, and we service, sir, I'm just going to say this, we're talking about all black businesses. Yeah. They don't even have to be in Buffalo. That was never said. So I just want to be clear.
So you just got a shout out.
You just got a shout out. Aaron's, we didn't say was in Buffalo. They service Buffalo. I opened up the lines, and anybody can write any black business they want to, or anybody could call in to 541-0866. So I want to be clear that we are not just talking about inner city businesses. We just said any black business.
Shout them out. Hey, so let's run down what we got. Kearns Bowling Center,
Kearns,
holding down Fat Cats, Pandora's, MMB Realty. They really killing the game.
They killing the game. When you see them sisters up there and they got that, like, but I want them to get some of these $4 million listings.
Yes, buddy.
That's what we got.
I'm sure they want it too.
And I'm sure they on track to get it.
Yes.
Keep going. What else you got?
We got Brothers on Ellicott. Forgot about Brothers. Didn't forget. Somebody shouted them out. Brothers on Ellicott.
And did somebody say Fat Cats?
Yes.
Fat Cats. Okay.
I just have names. Johnny and Fee Williams. I don't know who they are or what business they go to. Sharon and Ken Holly.
Sharon and Ken Holly. Staples in the community.
Yep.
And Kamal says Zawadi Books and Crafts on Jefferson. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Yes. This is how you promote, folks. This is how you promote. Yeah. This is how you do it. What else you got?
And just got another text. And we actually talked to the owner on the radio, if you remember, the Juice Lounge at Fisher and Genesee.
Did you go there?
Let me tell you, that smoothie was
I ain't a smoothie guy. I might have to try the smoothie.
Listen.
The smoothie was right.
It was right. I didn't want anything to eat, I promise you, for almost 6 hours.
Yeah.
Because and if you tell her like what body issues, if you say I'm having stomach problems, she actually will customize something.
What if you just say I'm getting old?
She probably has one for you, because she'll say this helps with your joints, this helps with this, and so she probably will come up with something. She was amazing, and even the conversation was good about the benefits of some of the stuff that when you hear like sea moss, you're like sea moss, right. But then she tells you the benefits of it. You're like, all right, man, throw a little bit in the smoothie.
Give me a little sea moss.
Yes, absolutely.
34 Group. Hey, this show is sponsored by Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home. I'm looking at Hobson's feed, and so I was about to say, oh, Brian K. Lewis, dry cleaner. She got anything from memory? Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home, 3 locations to serve you in the city of Buffalo in your hour of need. Remember, black businesses just got a boost because of the sponsorship of Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home. And of course, Hobson's, the doctor of dry cleaning. Listen, take your clothes over to Hobson's, take them over there, get them right, sneakers, hats, coats, whatever you got. Hobson's, the Dr. Dry Cleaning.
And I was going to say that I know we're sponsored by one, but we'll shout them. We'll just lump them together. Hey, if you live in this community and you look like us, support any of them.
Support them. And even if you don't, if you chose to live somewhere else, but you support in this community,
yes,
we have a responsibility to support you.
Absolutely.
Until next week, I'm throwing it over to the station. Power to the people.